Welcome to the channel Prophecies of Tomorrow. Today we will embark on a profound and transformative journey. Have you ever wondered what the true meaning of your life is? This is a question that spans the centuries and that Carl Jung, one of the greatest psychologists in the world, sought to answer. He believed that each human being carries within them a unique mission and that finding this purpose is essential to living fully. In this video, we will explore how Jung related the search for meaning with spiritual principles that may resonate deeply with you, especially if you believe your life has a greater purpose. Let me ask, do you feel like you're on the right path? Or does something seem missing, like a void that never fills? Jung said that this emptiness is an invitation to transformation. Stay with me until the end, because together we will discover how to take the first steps on this journey. Carl Jung talked about the concept of individuation, a process by which we become who we really are. For him, the meaning of life is not in easy answers or ready-made dogmas, but in responding to the inner call that echoes within each one of us. This call often comes in the form of concerns, crises, or even dreams that seem to make no sense. Do you remember a time when you felt an inexplicable desire to completely change your life? Jung would say this is your soul asking to be heard. But why do so many people ignore this calling? Perhaps due to fear of the unknown or social pressure. The question is, how can we listen to the voice that guides us without letting ourselves be suffocated by doubts and the noise of the world? Share in the comments how you have been dealing with these feelings. For Jung, individuation is an ongoing process that requires courage and authenticity. It begins with the decision to look inside, to face our doubts and discover who we are beyond the masks we wear on a daily basis. It is an invitation to abandon external expectations and follow the path of our inner truth. That doesn't mean it will be easy. Often, answering the soul's call involves facing challenges and leaving behind what no longer serves. Think about your own life. What are you carrying that no longer reflects who you are? Jung believed that this type of reflection can lead us to spiritual awakening, a journey that, although arduous, is deeply rewarding. Have you heard this call? Or maybe you're listening right now. If so, how do you plan to respond to it? Leave your answer in the comments. We want to hear your story. After all, the search for meaning is not just individual, but something that connects us all in our shared humanity. One of Carl Jung's most fascinating concepts is that of the shadow. According to him, the shadow represents all the parts of us that we reject, hide, or deny because we consider them undesirable or incompatible with who we believe we are. But here's the paradox. Jung believed that by integrating our shadow, we become more whole. After all, how can we know the light if we are not willing to face the darkness within us? Think about a time in your life when you were afraid to admit something about yourself. Maybe it was a feeling of anger, envy, or even a desire that felt wrong. These aspects are often relegated to the shadows, but they do not disappear. On the contrary, they influence us unconsciously, affecting our choices, behaviors, and even our relationships. Shadow integration is not an easy process. It requires brutal honesty with yourself and a willingness to face discomfort. Jung said that what you resist persists. In other words, ignoring our shadow only increases its power over us. But how can we begin this integration process? A powerful practice is to reflect on times when we overreact to something or someone. These intense reactions often point to something in ourselves that we are avoiding. Have you ever had an experience in which someone aroused disproportionate anger or dislike in you? What might this say about you? Share your reflections in the comments. This is an opportunity for growth for all of us. The courage to face our shadow opens the way to true transformation, allowing us to access an inner power that was previously hidden. By accepting and integrating our shadow, we begin to get closer to our essence. And it is at this point that the light begins to shine more intensely. Jung reminds us that we are not just our faults or our mistakes. We are constantly evolving beings. Facing our shadow is actually an act of self-love. And you? Are you willing to take this step? Because the journey to finding meaning in life requires us to look at every part of ourselves, without exception. After facing the shadow and beginning to integrate it, Carl Jung guides us to an even deeper moment of the journey, the encounter with the self. For Jung, the self is the totality of our being, the perfect union between the conscious and the unconscious, our true self. It is the center of the psyche, where we find not only answers, but also the connection with something greater, transcendent. This encounter, however, is both challenging and liberating. Have you ever had the feeling that there is something in you greater than your everyday identity, something that transcends your personal history? This is the self trying to manifest itself. However, the path to it can be marked by internal resistance, doubts, and even fears. Jung believed that it is necessary to go through crises to reach the self. It is these crises that force us to reevaluate our lives and seek meaning beyond the superficial. Imagine a time when you felt lost, as if your life had lost its direction. And then suddenly there was a new clarity, a vision of what really matters. This is the glimpse of the self, a moment when your essence speaks louder. To reach this point, Jung recommended practices such as deep reflection, writing dreams, and exploring symbols in our lives. These symbols often appear in moments of introspection and carry powerful messages about who we are and where we should go. Ask yourself, what symbols have been appearing in your life lately? They can be in your dreams, in the stories that attract you, or even in the repetitive patterns you observe in your life. Pay attention to these signs. They are the language of the unconscious, a bridge to the self. Jung also highlighted the importance of spirituality in this process. For him, the encounter with the self is ultimately a spiritual experience, as it connects us to the divine that dwells within us. No matter what your beliefs, the message here is universal. There is something greater that guides our journey and that calls us to live in alignment with our true essence. What do you think? Do you feel like you are getting closer to yourself? Share your thoughts on this profound topic in the comments. The encounter with the self, as described by Carl Jung, is just the beginning of a journey that leads us to plenitude. Jung believed that living fully means aligning our conscious desires with the depths of our unconscious, creating harmony between our external aspirations and our internal universe. This harmony, however, is not achieved without effort. On the contrary, it requires us to face our greatest fears, review our beliefs, and challenge the limitations we impose on ourselves. But what does it mean, in practice, to seek this plenitude? For Jung, it is a process of radical self-acceptance. It is accepting that we are imperfect beings, with strengths and weaknesses, virtues and shadows. It is recognizing that our value is not in perfection, but in integrity. Think about your life. Are there parts of you that you try to hide or deny? Perhaps they are emotions that you deem inappropriate or past mistakes that still weigh on your conscience. How about looking at them with compassion instead of judgment? Jung also emphasized the importance of connecting with something greater than ourselves. He believed that by recognizing our relationship to the whole, we transcend our ego and find a deeper meaning to our existence. This something greater can be understood in many ways. For some, it is God. For others, it is nature, the universe, or the love we share with others. What is, for you, this something bigger? Seeking fulfillment also implies living authentically. This means making choices that reflect our values and our deepest truths, even when those choices are difficult or unpopular. It means letting go of the masks we wear to please others and embracing who we really are. Have you been living authentically, or is there something you would like to change to align more with your true self? Finally, Jung reminds us that the journey to wholeness does not have a final destination. It is continuous, like a river that flows without ceasing. Each step we take towards the self brings us closer to a state of greater awareness and harmony. And at the same time, each new challenge offers us an opportunity for growth. So, ask yourself, what will be your next step on this journey? If this reflection touched you in any way, share it in the comments. We are together in this search for fulfillment, and your story can inspire others. Because at the end of the day, we are all walking the same path, each in our own way. We've reached the final chapter of this journey, but as you'll see, the end is just the beginning. Carl Jung left us a profound and transformative legacy. His Ideas are not just philosophical or psychological concepts. They are invitations to live with more authenticity, courage, and purpose. He calls us to find the meaning of life not outside ourselves, but in our own journey of self-discovery and individuation. And now I ask you, what did this video awaken in your heart? Throughout the chapters, we explore the inner calling, the integration of the shadow, the encounter with the self, and the path to wholeness. Each of these steps is essential so that we can live more consciously and aligned with our essence. So, what will you take away from this reflection? If this message resonated with you, don't forget to leave a comment, sharing your insights or telling us about your own journey. We want to build a community where we can grow together, inspired by the knowledge of great thinkers like Jung. Also, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel Prophecies of Tomorrow. We are very close to reaching the 1,000 subscribers mark, and each new subscription makes all the difference in continuing to bring transformative content to you. Now, before you go, take a look at the 2 videos that are appearing on the screen here. One of them further delves into Jung's ideas, while the other reflects on how to find inner peace in times of uncertainty. Choose the one that catches your attention the most, or better yet, watch both. I'm sure they will be a valuable complement to everything we've discussed here. Thank you for accompanying us on this journey. Remember, the meaning of life is not in a final destination, but in the path we take. And today, you took another step in that direction. Until the next video.